So walk us through how you do analysis of an article when you're peer reviewing it. What are the things that you look for when you're reviewing an article for a journal?
Well, let's see. When I'm starting to review an article, I've got to remember that there is a person at the other end that has submitted this, and we need to do a really good job at giving the strong and the weaker points of this article and to try to make it better when it's published. So the first thing I do is I make sure I'm in a good mood, I'm relaxed, I'm able to really consider this seriously. Then what I do is I try to get it simplified if I can. So I just read through it quickly. I don't really stop and make a lot of notes just to get the idea. And I gotta follow the logic of the writer, and if it's not easy to follow, well, that'll be one thing that we'll have to somehow improve. So the second time around, I have to make sure that this is something suitable for me. Is this one of my strengths? Is this something I don't know much about? And usually the editors will have information available to me. For example, they may have a search of the literature available where I can look at recently published articles on the same topic. So I can make sure that it's original. I want it to be original. I want it to be adding something to the current literature. Sometimes these days a requirement to do things more than once to be sure about them. So even if somebody has published something or there's been something negative written about it, if it's well done, it's worth looking at. So then I go through it and I look for the main points, and when I'm putting at this point, I will write all over it. If it's in a paper copy, I like to work in a paper copy, and I'll just make quick notes. And then eventually I'm going to sit down at a computer and give a response. And you can think it over, you can store it on the computer system, in the journal. You have access to going back to it. I don't want to do it all in one sitting most of the time, unless it's a brief article. So I'm looking for originality, I'm looking for plain English so that it's not too complicated. I'm looking for shortening things because sometimes people are a bit redundant, they repeat themselves, and there is only so much space in the journals these days, in the good journals. So I'll try to reduce it without losing the main points. So when I get to that point, I'm ready to look at the pluses and the minuses. So when I actually start typing it in the website for the journal, I usually summarize what I think the main points, the gist of this article, what they're writing this for, why are they doing this. And then I'll go through, on the plus side, here are some of the strengths, and it may be the strengths that the author is well known, reliable work, very clear English, and they are concise, it's easy to follow what they're saying, it's an important topic, this is something that we really need to know more about. Then I'll start adding things that are not so positive. It may be verbose, too many words, it may be complicated unnecessarily, it may be hard to follow, maybe it should be 2 papers. These kind of things I'll list among the things that need some correction. So there are some people out there that may be sensitive, and rightly so. They put their heart and soul, we hope, into this work. And you might want to very gently say, you could consider, the author might consider shortening this to maybe 2/3 of its current length without losing the meaning or the main points. I like an article that has an important and well-written headline, or the beginning or the name of the article, or the beginning part of it. It should correspond, the abstract should really have most of what's in the article itself. And then I look to see, there should be a larger results section, I think, than discussion, because it's the main points that we're reading, and it's not their opinion about it. Sometimes it varies a little bit, but sometimes the discussion goes on and becomes a bit too hypothetical, or it may be overstating or understating the importance of the work or the way it's written so far. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of like my best answer to that question.